Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, welcome to today's edition of #Doing a Linda interview. And today, my guest is Jeanne from On The Hook Crochet. So as with all my interviews, guys, I'm sorry I won't be concentrating as much on the chat, who comes in. So I'll just do a quick run through now and say hello to people. We've got Ursula, we've got Dee, we've got Kathy, Alma, another Linda, Vicky, Chris, and Kathy. Welcome to being a new member of my channel. Thank you, sweetie. And I will play the new members at the end, Ditty, at the end. If you can bear with me, Kathy, I will do that. Welcome in, everybody. Crazy Not Crochet, Crafty Sarah. Hi, Sarah Moo. Hi, Julie. Lashira. Wow, you're all here tonight. Thank you so much. Hi, Sunita. Don't forget the thumbs up, guys. Don't forget the thumbs up. Samantha, Roberta, Sabrina, Sheila, Bree, Holly and Mistletoe. Welcome. I believe it's your first time to my channel. Thank you for joining us tonight. Hi, Yana, Rosie. Wow, Trudy. Ola Joe's here. Hi. Welcome aboard. So without further ado, guys, I'm going to bring up Jeanne. We'll get this interview going, shall we? Welcome. Hello, Jeanne. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Linda?
I'm very well, thank you. I've already had a live today, so it's really nice. And thank you so much for, agreeing to do this interview with me this evening.
To be here. I'm just glad to be here. It's my very first live anything I've ever done. So this is a first for me.
Oh, lovely, lovely. I'm so pleased that you said, as you know, I've been following you for quite a long time. Well, since I joined the fibre community. So it's really nice to kind of get to know you. And I'm sure everybody in the chat is looking forward to the interview today too.
Wonderful. Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
We've got a lot of people here so far. So welcome in, everybody. And first thing I want to ask, if you could just tell everybody in the chat your journey into crochet, where it started, who taught you, just general information like that. Just where did you start?
Okay, I started a century ago. My mother taught me to crochet when I was about 5. And funny story, she would, my brother was 3 years older than me, and we both learned to crochet one winter when it was cold down in Florida, which is unusual. So it was cold, and she gave us each a crochet hook and showed us how to do a chain stitch. And so we chained and chained and chained. She said that we would have to chain a chain as long as we go around the house on the outside. So we had to go outside and chain until we got around to the other side of the house. That's how we learned how to crochet. And my brother dropped it after that, but I kept going. I was just fascinated by it. And my mom would sit and crochet tiny doilies. I know you can appreciate that, Linda, because you are a kind of a doily person sometimes.
Yeah, that's where I started.
Yeah. I actually ran across one of my mother's doilies the other day. I can't believe I didn't bring it to the desk here, but anyway, it was very intricate, and she did a lot of those tiny doilies, and then she did big bedspreads, but she used the tiny
crochet hook,
tiny crochet thread.
The thread,
yeah, number 2 and number 3, the tiny little thread, and the teeny little hooks. I still have all of her hooks, and you can barely see the end of them. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I'm loving the K and the J, And she was using double O and some of these weird crochet hooks. But anyway, she was a very big inspiration to me. And so when I was probably 6, when I had been crocheting for a while, and I'd done some scarves and some hats and things like that, she bought a pattern for me out of a family circle book, I believe it was. And it was a granny square cardigan. And I showed this on my channel a long time ago, but I asked Crystal if she would model it for y'all because it's the very first thing I ever made that was of substance. You know, this is, and I think everybody has probably seen this once or twice. Let me get over here. Whoa, come over here, Crystal. She's getting all over the place. This is my granny square cardigan, and it goes down below the hip. Let's see if I can get her back here.
Hey, I'll put you solo so everybody can see. I'll give you a solo layout. Here we are.
There she is. Look at that. Okay, let me get her over here.
Left is right.
Yeah, it's hard. Left is right. I know. I'm not smart enough to figure that out all the time.
No, me neither. That is gorgeous.
Yeah. It's all red heart, which is the only thing that was available back then. Royal blue for the main part, and then just beautiful colors of really scraps that she had from a lot of the things. She made Afghans too, lots of Afghans. And so she taught me to crochet, and I crocheted this on my own. She, of course, gave me some advice and all, but it was all my project. And one thing I really liked about this was the pattern is not so simple. It's all granny squares. And this is, of course, in honor of Granny Square Monday, wasn't it? Last Monday?
Yes, Monday.
I'm not a big fan of granny squares, but I always forget how much fun they are to make. And this particular pattern has squares and triangles. See, there's a triangle here to give the shape of the sleeve. Yes. And on the front, there are triangles here to give the shape for the neck. And I just thought that was really nice. Now that I appreciate how patterns are written, I can appreciate this. Now, today I went on the web and I looked for that pattern, and it is on Annie's. Now you used to get it on eBay, but now it's on Annie's Crafts. You can go to annies.com, not sponsored. And it's called the Granny Square Cardigan or something like that. Vintage cardigan, I think it's called. But that was a huge project for me. And when she was, when I went to pick her up in Florida, we were she was coming here to live her last few months. And we both knew that. And we brought some things from her house. And then my brother came in later and cleaned up the house. I couldn't do it, but I brought some of her crocheted Afghans, and I brought that jacket, and I had actually made it for her. It was a present for her that I had made. And she had this in her closet. It had been dry cleaned, and it was so beautiful. It was in plastic. And I picked that thing right up, and I thought, I'm having this because I made it so long ago.
How old were you when you made that?
I was 6. I was 6 when I made that. I was 6. Now, a 6-year-old can make a granny square. I mean,
definitely.
Together, I mean, she showed me how to put them together and helped me read the pattern and learn how to do all the different stitches. It weren't that many. It's just mostly double crochet. But, to make a granny square, it's not that simple, but I could do it. I had crocheted quite a bit up to that point. Yeah. And I was also taking music lessons. So I was busy doing all kinds of things. But anyway, that's where I learned. And it's been a long, long time ago that I learned to crochet. And I was never totally interested in the doilies and the tiny hooks. And so when I did this, I was just really excited because I knew I could make big things. I could crochet big things, and doilies were never part of my life much. But about 20 years ago, when Mr. On The Hook and I were having an anniversary, she gave me a dining room table cover to go on my actual table. It's a huge table. It's got a lot of leaves in it. And she made a white tablecloth out of the thread yarn. Yeah. Very intricate pattern. I couldn't believe it. Mm-hmm. It was huge. It's probably 10 feet long and probably 7 feet wide or something ridiculous. I mean, and I use it at Christmas time. I put a red tablecloth underneath it, and it shows through. It's really, really beautiful. So she's left me quite a legacy of crochet. So I love to learn to knit, Linda. I've said this on my channel so many times. I'd like to learn to knit, but I'm just kind of engrossed in the crochet. I'm trying to learn to knit, but it's not part of my being yet. It'll have to be in the future going forward. But right now, crochet is kind of where I'm at. So that's how I started. And I've been crocheting something every year pretty much for crochet worthy relatives and friends. Not everybody is crochet worthy, as you know.
Yes.
So I will tell you a tiny story, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
I made an Afghan, a very intricate Afghan for someone in my family, and I won't say who it was, but I made it for Christmas for a very special member of the family. And I wrapped it all up, and it was just gorgeous. It was, autumn colors. It was quite beautiful. And the next time I went to the house where the person that I gave this to, I didn't see the Afghan anywhere, and I thought, well, they've put it away, or something. And the person said to me, well, somebody, I just have to tell you, my dog tore that up last night. She had a big dog, and the dog tore up the Afghan, and I was just devastated. And at that point, I knew that a person that you crochet for really needs to be crochet worthy. They have to understand.
Yes, they have to understand the time.
Thing, full of love, and then you destroy, just leave it somewhere. And I was really so disappointed. I think one of the most disappointed points in my life, because I had spent probably 100 hours crocheting this Afghan, or
and the
longer,
rest.
how much it was. Yeah. So anyway, enough stories.
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. So we go on to the questions. They're very easy questions, Jeannie. They're not hard, nothing to do with maths. So the first question is, what was the deciding factor for you to start your channel? What was that one thing that thought, right, I'm going to have a YouTube channel?
Well, I wasn't a big YouTube fan, but my daughter was. She's now 40, but at the time she was 38 or 37. I've only been out there 3 years. And 3 years now, this month, 3 years. She had decided she was going to have a YouTube channel. And she told me all about it one day, and I was so excited to hear about it. And she had bought the ring light. She had, upgraded her computer. She was ready to go. And then she decided she just didn't have time. She had 2 little boys at the time, getting ready to bear another one. She's like me. She just bites off so much more than she can chew.
Yeah.
And so I said, oh my goodness, I can't believe you're not going to do that. And she says, Mom, why don't you do it? And I said, why? And she says, because you crochet, you can show people how to crochet. You can crochet patterns. You can, do all kinds of things. And so I took the ring light home and I set it up at my desk, and I thought, I'm going to turn this thing on, see how it looks. And I went out on YouTube. It says, start your channel. And I started my channel. It was like falling off a log. It was so easy. And so my very first one was just basically a disaster. People still say they watch it, but I can't even watch it. I'm sure it's really, really bad. But anyway, that's kind of where I was, because I had so much content and I was making other people's patterns. And so now I'm only making my own, because I designed a lot of patterns. So I make my own. But at the time I was making other people's patterns. And so my subscribers would say, hey, why don't you write a pattern yourself? And I thought, I can't do that. And then I thought, well, other people do it. Why can't I do it? And so I thought, what are the things about crochet patterns that I don't like? And that is, they're cryptic. They're hard to understand. You don't know exactly what the person might be talking about. There are too many abbreviations. It's not friendly to read. It's, it's very upsetting. Some of them I just hate. I couldn't even stand to use them, So I thought, I'm the kind of person that I was a teacher for a while, so I know how people learn. They learn in different ways, So I thought, if I just type out everything that I'm thinking when I'm writing this pattern, and to make sure people understand what I'm talking about. And that's how my patterns are written. You've probably seen one. I think, Linda, did you?
I did the American tank. Yeah. And I really like the Rebecca one as well.
Yeah, thank you. That's my focus, is to make the patterns easy to read. And so I sat down and I thought, I'm just going to write this pattern out. And it was like 13 pages long. But and usually a pattern's like 1 page for that simple garment. But you got to know how to pick your hook, and if you have a different kind of yarn, what kind of yarn you want to use. You need to know how to select a hook. You need to know all those things, and you don't learn that if you just look at a pattern and they're not helping you.
No.
They need to help people. So that's kind of where I am right now. And so I was just writing patterns right and left. I was, you're creative too, Linda, and so when you sit down in a chair and you go, you know, I'd like to make a so-and-so. I'd like to make a sweater that has this or that on it. And I sit around and I think about it, and I go to my stash and I grab some yarn, or I order some yarn, and I say, you know, I'm going to write this pattern because somebody out there might want to make one like that, you know, and I don't want to make all those sizes. I'm not doing that. I mean, people, you know, you can't, you know, go into a tiny little spot where it says small, medium, large. You never know how it's going to fit until you start making it.
We're all different, you know, we're all different sizes. Absolutely. Up top, on the waist, on the hips, kind of when after, I mean, I've done lots of wearables, but mine were knitted. So when I come to do the American Tank, when, you know, when they did that collab, and I read your pattern because, you know, and it kind of made sense for me, because then when I come and designed this tunic, I knew then that the width, you know, to go all the way around, I knew then that I needed to add the measure me, but then maybe add a couple of, you know, an inch either side to make it so it's not stuck to me like cellophane, you know. So you know, kind of, it kind of opened up another box for me, whereas before I was always following regimentally, you know, these knitting patterns that were saying, right, you are 36 and this will come out at 40, and I'm thinking, well, I'm not 36. You know, and I don't at 40, you know, so it's kind of helped me re-evaluate and re-look at patterns as well. So
I think it'd be great if you, since you're a knitter too, you do such beautiful work. I'm impressed every time I watch your show. I just think, oh, I'll never be able to knit like that. Someday I will. But if you wrote a pattern for like a very simple top, a knitted top, and didn't use stitch counts, can you do that?
No.
No.
No, I have to, I know where I'm going. And I think because I've been knitting such a long time, I kind of know, kind of guesstimate. I kind of know. And what I've been thinking as well is kind of, you know, the knitting patterns, follow a knitting pattern, but crochet it.
Right.
You know, in stocking stitch, which is knit-a-row, pale-a-row. How about doing it, you know, for the rib, which is knit one, pale one, do the front post, back post, and then the knit part, use the double crochet, the half double crochet, the single crochet. And that is on my to-do list next year, because next year is my wearable year.
Oh, good.
Wearables I'm going to make. So
I can't wait.
So that's kind of really, and you know, leads me on to the second, which you've actually answered by showing us. So what was the first thing you made?
That.
And obviously you still got it, because
I still got it. It's amazing to me, but it just kind of fell in my lap. I never asked her for it, but I just saw it in her closet and I thought, I've got to have that. You know,
yeah, you've got to. Yeah. So okay, so this is part of this question, but what is your favorite item to wear? And I think really it's got to be wearables, hasn't it?
Wearables. I'm not an amigurumi person, although I'd love to learn to do it. I've only done one amigurumi thing, and that was this little bunny thingy. It was on my show last week or week before, and I didn't know if it was a bunny or a dog when I got it together. But I don't like amigurumi too much. I'd love to do some of it, but I don't really know what I'd want to do. And then I do like hats and cowls and scarves and things. I don't like socks. I really like sweaters. I like to make sweaters out of luxury yarn and also out of big box yarn, you know, yarns everybody can find. You can go to the store and pick them up. I like to make all of my prototypes in at least that kind of yarn. And sometimes I'll make luxury yarn like this one. I just finished. This is Malabrigo yarn, and it came in the mail in a quarterly subscription from Knit Crate. And when I opened it up, I thought, I've got to make a sweater out of that.
Yeah.
So I started it Saturday, and right before we came on today, I finished it. I was still crocheting around the bottom of it.
Yeah.
But mostly wearables. Yes. Yes. The answer is wearables to that. That's a long way around the road there. Sorry.
Yeah. What's your favorite yarn to work with, and what weight of yarn?
I like 3 double knitting. I think DK weight is my favorite because it's light, and when you crocheting is very heavy.
Yes,
And if you use a worsted, it's going to be heavy, and I use worsted many, many times, but I think a DK weight is probably for me the easiest to work with. I've got a stash full of DK yarn over there. I'm just looking at it, and I like it because it's light. And there are DKs that are really tiny, like almost like fingering yarn. And then there's some DKs like this that said, actually on the tag, it said worsted DK. So I'm thinking that they're saying it's just a huge DK. It's not quite a worsted. So that's the size I really like to work with.
Yeah. I know. I think for wearables, I really like the 2 weight if I'm crocheting.
That's beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful, more beautiful in a 2 weight. But it takes so long to make them that I resist that. I resist the 2s. But I have done several sweaters with the 2, and they're quite beautiful. They're very, very light and very wonderful to wear. They are wonderful to wear.
Yeah, I think, I think for wearables, a 2 weight is I love, my favorite is a 2 weight, and then I enjoy working with DK. I will work with worsted, not my favorite. I prefer to do kind of hats and cowls with 4 weight than a wearable. So that's good. DK is a 3 weight, guys, if for those that don't know. Okay, so the next question I've got is, since starting your channel, what changes have you seen in the fiber community, if any?
Well, I started 3 years ago in August, so I'm coming up on my 3-year delta, almost 3 years. In actually 2 days, on the 19th, will be my 3-year anniversary, podiversary, or whatever you call it. What changes have I seen? I have seen an explosion of live streaming, of groups getting together and like the Yarny Sisters do, but there are several others too. And a lot of knitting channels have done that, and they've just exploded too. They are a little bit ahead of us as far as numbers and variety, I think, because I watch a lot of knitting channels too. And they just seem to be far ahead of us for some reason. But I think they've been out here longer than we have. The crocheters. I'm talking about crocheters now.
Yeah.
But the whole YouTube Yarny community has exploded, and it's been glorious and wonderful. I mean, you can find all kinds of wonderful channels to watch. And I do the same thing at night. If I'm looking for something to do, I'll just type in crochet on YouTube, and oh my God, all these channels come up that I've never even seen before. And you also put lists on your YouTube description boxes where you talk about what channels to take a look at. And there are other people doing the same thing. So it's really fun. And that's the one thing I've noticed. And a lot of live streaming, huge amount of live streaming. That's like we're doing right now. I'm just blown away with it. And I've never tried it before. Again, this is my first time. And I'm a little nervous, I guess. I don't know how many people are out there, maybe 10.
We've got
you have a lot of people. If I had one, I'd probably be 10.
No, you wouldn't, believe me. We've got 71 people here watching us tonight.
Good.
Yes, thank you, and welcome everybody. I just seen Ursula's question. I just want to ask it because it's quite in line with what we were talking about. What is Jeannie's opinion of live streaming, like we do in the crochet community, the live streaming?
I love it. I love it. I actually, if I come across one of the three or four of you, whoever joins in, sometimes there's only 3 people on there. Sometimes there are 4.
Yeah, only
Ursula
5
wasn't there last.
sisters.
Is that Ursula the same one that's on your
Yeah, Ursula usually, yes, Ursula is OM Granny Square.
OM Granny Square, right. I will, at night I'm just really kind of worn out. So I'll just sit and I'll put my earpieces in and I just lay there and watch it. And it's just funny. I mean, I just love it. It was like 3 hours the other day. Was it 3 or 2 hours? Some really long live stream. And I watched every minute. I would not turn it off until y'all were finished. I don't know. I'm just kind of one of those people that I have to finish something if I start it, so I've had a lot of fun watching live streams. Everybody does them but me. I've never done one, so
maybe maybe one day you will.
Maybe one day.
Any of us are here to help you. More
you may have to, Linda. You may have to help me.
I will.
I had Mr. On the Hook in here right before we started, and he had to download Chrome. He had to get me going. He had to drag this here, drag that there, do a couple of dances, twirl around, cough a couple times, and he finally got it to work. But if he hadn't been here, I would not be here right now. I would just have to say, forget it. I can't get Chrome to load because I use Safari on my computer. So I guess that's why I just assumed it would work. But you have to have Chrome, and that's okay. I've got it now, so it's not.
Yeah, you've got it now, so it's not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere. I can join anytime I want to.
Yes. So the next we've only got 2 more questions now. So this next one.
Okay.
How did lockdown affect your channel? And did you join just before lockdown?
I did. I started my YouTube channel August 19 of 2019. And of course, the next year was full-fledged COVID business starting about March. And I wasn't allowed to go anywhere. So I was ordering yarn like crazy. I was whirling around doing patterns because I couldn't leave the house. So it just, I just kind of was stuck. And so my channel exploded during that time. And of course, it's because people were at home and they were learning to crochet or crocheting more, ordering yarn, enjoying, doing their crafting, because you can craft by yourself. You don't have to have anybody else.
No.
And that's what I love about crochet. I'm really very much an introvert. I'm sure you know that by now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an introvert, and I like to play music. I like to crochet. I like to do diamond painting. All these things are quiet things that you do on your own.
Yes.
I can crochet when I'm talking to somebody, but I'm never as productive as I am on my own when I'm thinking about new patterns, whatever. But it did explode during 20. And then 21, it just kept growing. And I'm sure there were a lot of channels that started during that time. I don't know that for a fact, but my guess is that they would have started during 20 and 21. And then when people started getting out more, late 21, I think my views on my YouTube shows, they went down just a little bit toward the end of 21. I think when people were finally out of their houses and shopping and doing some other things, I noticed that. But then this kind of leveled off, in 2022. I think the number of subscribers is leveled off a little bit. It's growing some, but I just noticed that there were a lot of new channels on, and that's probably when they started. That would be my guess, in 2021.
Yeah, definitely. And I kind of, it also, I think what I noticed as well during lockdown, there were a lot of people starting to knit, learning to crochet, because for something to do because nobody could go out, know. And I think that, and then they've seen other people do channels and think, well,
yeah, I can do that. That's how I think about my whole life. If I see somebody doing something, I think, well, I can do that. I mean, I might have to work really hard, but I think I can do that. And I've really enjoyed having this channel, even though I'm in the winter of my life.
Me
I'm
too.
in the late part of my life.
Me too.
There are a lot of people who do new things in their last few decades. You don't have to be 25 to do anything, really. I mean, what you start later in life is just as important as what you start when you're in your 20s. If that's your career time and you're making money, and then later in life, you decide you want to do something that you want to do,
Yes.
that you want to do.
And you've got the time because you're not looking after the children. The housework doesn't need quite as much attention or washing and ironing as it used to do, because there's only either you and your spouse, so let's face it, it doesn't get dirtier, especially if you're sat in one room all day.
I'm in one room all day. I'm in this one.
Me too.
I gravitate to this room. Mr. On the Hook fixes lunch every day, and I know I'm blessed to have a husband that does that. But he's not working a corporate job anymore, so he's here. And during lockdown, he was here anyway. He was still working, but he was here at home, working from home. So he got into the habit of going in the kitchen and just kind of piddling around wanting to cook something. And I said, well, knock yourself out, because I'm busy. I'm going to be busy all day. So he actually makes lunch for us.
Yeah, Rick's the same. Rick does lunch. He does the evening meals. And
I'm great. It doesn't get any better than that. Now, when the kids were here, I have 2 children. And when they were here, I cooked breakfast, lunch, dinner, sent lunches if I needed to, cooked every meal. We rarely went out to dinner because, we just didn't. We stayed here. And so I'm kind of over the cooking thing. It's not my favorite thing. If I was a foodie, it'd be different. But I'm more of a crafter, and so I enjoy the crafting time. I'll fix a sandwich.
Good job he can cook. I tell you, it's a good job he can cook. Otherwise, we'd go hungry.
Well, I've enjoyed starting something new at the end of my life. I really enjoyed it. It. And I'll do it as long as my hands hold up. They get tired sometimes. I don't know how yours are, but mine get really tired.
Yeah. I try and take at least one day off.
You do? You take a whole day?
Yeah, I take a whole day, but I kind of come the evening when I'm sat watching TV, but I've given the hands a rest, so that even if I crochet of an evening, they've had a rest most of the day, so they're not.
I know. Yesterday I crocheted for about 5 hours on this. I was on a bead, as they say.
Yeah. And
I wanted to finish it. And I thought maybe I could finish it for my interview tomorrow. And Mr. On the Hook said, really? You're going to finish a whole sweater in time to be online? I said, why not? I can do it. I've sat right in that chair in there. I just crocheted like crazy. And I didn't stop for anything but to eat a little bit, And then I woke up this morning and I thought, these hands might do a few more rounds, but that's it. Because they're about burning out now, burn out.
So I've got the last question for you, and then we'll go to the chat.
Okay.
There's a couple of questions. So, what advice would you give your younger self if your younger self was starting a YouTube channel?
Well, my youngest self would probably be more tech savvy than I am. And that would be the first thing I would tell me to learn is the technical part of it. Be sure you understand YouTube. Be sure you understand how to do a live like you're doing. Be sure to understand how to make your description box effective, how to do all of that. And then make sure you have some content. You have to have content. You have to have something up here that people would like to see or would like to learn how to do. And if you have those 2 things, then you're on your way. And as a younger person, I would probably be more successful as far as getting subscribers and all that. I'd have more energy. I would do more YouTube videos. I used to do a YouTube video every other day when I first started. And that's a good way to start. But I had to, slow it down a little bit. And once a week, about 50 minutes or so, I could probably fill a couple of videos every week, but it's a very big effort for me to do a video. I have to edit the film, and a lot of people don't edit theirs, and that's fine, but I feel like I need to edit out the coughing, the sneezing, the drinking, all that. I edit all that out of my videos, and it's not necessary, but that's just kind of the way I wanted to do it. I wanted it to be an actual show with transitions and things like that in between segments. And so it's a big it's an undertaking for me. And I would tell my younger self that it's okay to make 2 or 3 videos a day, because back in the old days, I would have the energy to do that. Now I need a little bit more rest because I'm old.
But it's, the content that you put out is, well watched and, well received by everybody. So thank you for answering my questions. And Darcia says, I cook because I have to. I crochet because I love to. Spot on, Darcia. And
right.
So if anybody's got any question, guys, for Jeannie, that would be lovely. Ursula, Granny Square, she says, does Jeannie have other hobbies like reading? Do you like reading?
I like reading. I read, I don't know, right before I started my YouTube channel, I got on a beat and I read about, 100 books. I kept them all. They're in my bookcases here. And I do like diamond painting. I do like music. I used to play handbells a lot, and then it was just very painful the day after I would play, and so I quit playing handbells. But I used to talk about that quite a bit. But I like to paint. I haven't done that in a while. I like to paint. I think later on this week I'm going to do a video of all the things on my walls. I have diamond paintings by other people, embroidery. I've got all that on my walls, and I'm going to make a video with all that in it. But I do have I love crafting. I've always been a big crafter. Always.
Yeah, I've always been a big crafter as well. And Ursula says, can you stand up so we can see your top?
Oh, well, all right. I can do that.
I'll put you solo.
Okay. All right. This is it. This is it's kind of a crop. It's a little bit, my waist is right here, so it's a little bit below my waist.
Yeah, that's a nice size.
Short sleeves, and it's made from Malabrigo DK worsted Pima cotton. Very, very, oh, here it is right here. Can I get it over there? There it is. That's what it looks like. It's a Pima cotton.
I saw this week's video, and I liked it straight away. Jeannie, would you have started a channel when you were younger or not?
Would I have? Probably not, because I was working in a corporate job. I had a business, and I really doubt I would have taken that on. I really doubt it. I had to, I worked in the corporate world for about 10 or 12 years at a big insurance company, and I was an account manager there. And that took up 45, 50 hours of my week. And then I started a property management business, really small. I started small, and it grew. And by the time it got big enough where I could, I didn't have time to do both. I quit my corporate job because I would much rather work for myself as somebody else. So I wouldn't have had time for a YouTube channel.
No. No, Yana says there are so many yarn subscriptions out there. What is your favorite and why?
I think Knit Crate is my favorite. I did like Crochet Surprise, but they quit. I don't know if you heard about that, but they had to close their business last week. I used to be, be an ambassador for them, and they would send me a box every month, and I would give it away on my giveaways. But Knit Crate, I've been a member of them. Theirs for a couple, 3 years at least. And I love the yarn. When it comes, I just get so excited. It's rare that I don't like the yarn that comes in the box. It's rare. And it gives me a chance to try out luxury yarns without just ordering them online and not knowing what I'm going to get. This way, they're kind of vetted. I think the people at Knit Crate are very careful about what yarns they send out. And a lot of this, like this one's a Malabrigo. I knew that was going to be good before it even got here. I was excited about that. But that's my favorite, Knit Crate. I know there are lots of them out there, and I thought about maybe trying another one, but the price of shipping has gone up so much that the price of a box every month is fairly high. I think it's fairly high, and I hate to take on another monthly subscription, but there's several out there that are good. I don't know them personally though, so I don't really know. I just know Knit Crate is very, very good. I really like them.
Everybody says the top's beautiful.
And they liked it. Okay. Well, I'm getting hot here because I'm nervous.
Your top is beautiful. You crochet a lot since Monday. Yeah, because when you showed it in your Monday videos and you've just gone up to the yoke.
Right.
And I thought, oh, I like that. Ola Joe, the crocheting sailor, our lovely Andrea, says, do you collect anything other than yarn?
No.
No, me neither.
I'm not a collector. I used to collect dolls. I did have a huge doll collection, and I used to make dolls. I had a doll business for a while. When my second child was born, I had to give it up. It was just too much. But I had designed a doll. We were actually the official doll of the World's Fair in 1980 something. I don't know when it was. 1980. It was 1980. And I designed this boy and a girl doll. They were big. They were, 3 feet tall. And they were so cute. They had on overalls. The boy had overalls on. The girl had a little red check dress on. And we sent in a pair to the people that were selecting items for the World's Fair, the official this, the official that. Yeah. And I was the only doll probably that applied. So they made me the official doll of the World's Fair. I don't know. I used to have an extensive doll collection, and I have it still. It's in a room somewhere. I mean, Barbie dolls, the whole bit, all the dolls. But no, I don't collect anything but diamond paintings and yarn right now.
I think that's enough, really. I mean, I only collect dolls and books and yarn books.
I have yarn books. I have a whole selection of yarn books. I know you show yarn books all the time. I really like that. Knitting books and crochet books. I bet you've got quite a collection of that.
I bet you
do. Yeah, I know you do. If you're showing that many on a YouTube channel, you probably have 25 of them behind you that you're not showing.
Well, did you see? I think you watched the Yarny Fiber Sisters on Saturday, and V kept showing me this book of blankets.
I don't want that book either.
I'm still not buying it.
I wouldn't buy that book. Wasn't that amigurumi or blankets or something? I thought
it was blankets.
It was blankets. No, thank you. I don't know. I can order a kit. I just order a kit if I'm going to make a blanket. Although I guess I would buy the book, but no, not blankets. I would buy a sweater book or cows or scarves, all that kind of stuff. I have a lot of those. And crochet stitches books. If y'all aren't doing that, you should. Crochet stitch books are wonderful. There's one like you all were talking about on the Yarny Sisters of 500 stitches. And I've had that book for, a year or two. And I look at it quite often, and I try to find stitches that maybe I can
incorporate into your sweaters.
I try to. I try to make them so simple, though, that you don't have to have a stitch count. And in order to do that, you have to use just kind of basic stuff. And most people that buy my patterns, I think they're beginners. There may be some people intermediate, maybe advanced. I don't know. You can whip one out for really quickly if you're an advanced person. But I wanted to write them so that a beginner crocheter could read it and go, okay, I understand that. Oh, I see what she's doing here.
Yeah.
And I don't do tutorials. I know people have said, why don't you do tutorials? I think there are thousands and thousands and thousands of tutorials out there.
Yeah.
And I really don't want to do tutorials. I just don't want to. I would rather just write the pattern and make it real easy to read. Just me.
And Sally says, Jeannie, can you talk about when you taught? Oh, did you teach? What
did I teach? I taught 2 years. I taught a year of middle school, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, mathematics. And I had a degree in mathematics and geology, of all things, a science. I could teach biology and chemistry, geology, all the ologies, zoology. And I taught in the middle school for a while. And then I taught 5 years in a post-secondary school. I don't know in England how they have that, but it's after you graduate high school, you can go on to a 2-year college or a 4-year college. And this was a 1-year college, and people actually got jobs when they came out, which was very wonderful. We even had someone in charge of placing them in companies. So we had connections.
We had that when I
Yep.
finished high school. I did 2 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's good to have that extra education, but the job that was offered me was for post-secondary. So everyone was 19, 20, 21, 40, 45, 50. Some people were 55 years old. They were all going back to school, a lot of them. And I taught software applications, like Word Perfect and Lotus. Those are like Excel and
Word Perfect. Oh my gosh, that brings back memories.
Very old. It was right after mice were invented.
Yes.
And they were so excited to learn to use a mouse. Oh my goodness. It used to all be on the keyboard, and I could still do pretty much everything on the keyboard. I like keyboard strokes, but the mouse was just coming into vogue, and that was something we were talking about to our students and how they were going to have to use a mouse. And so I taught them how to use mice or mouses, whatever you call them. But that's what I did for 5 years. And then after that, I went to work in a microbiology lab for a couple of years. I had a degree in microbiology, 2-year degree in microbiology. And so I worked in a food lab for a couple of years. And then I met Mr. On the Hook there, and we got married. And then our first son was born the next year. And I quit my job. I didn't ever go back. I stayed home with my children until they both went to school. And then I worked for Johnson & Johnson personal products, which are like, panty liners and stuff like that. I worked for them for a couple of years. And then I went back to school to get a teaching degree. And that's my history. Been all over the place.
And Sarah Moo, her channel is Crafty Moose Sarah. She's my Sarah Moo. What are your favorite hooks to use? I know.
Everybody knows. My favorite hooks are the clover hooks.
Mine too.
I can't use anything else. My hands actually cramp up when I use one of those all metal ones. I
can't use them.
And these are so good. I've got to give a little plug here. I'm not sponsored or anything at all, but like right now I'm using a J hook to make one of my fall lookbook patterns. And I've been using it to make a very large item. It's not a blanket though, not a blanket. But this is a J hook, and it is so well balanced that I barely have to put any pressure on it to crochet a size DK. It's a DK yarn I'm using, merino wool. Oh my gosh, it just slides through there. And I just can't say enough about clover hooks. If you don't have a collection of clover hooks, you should have one. This is mine right here. These are all clover hooks. And
I know, I love my clover hooks.
Yeah.
I can't crochet with anything else. I mean, when I first learned to crochet, like your mum did with the thread and the metal needles, I purposely went out and bought the clover hooks that go right the way down to the smallest size that you can.
Do they make them that small?
Yes, they do.
The smallest one I have is like maybe a pink one. And it's a pink. It's this color. Where is my camera? There it is.
That's a 4.
Yeah, this is a 4G. Yes, a G.
Yeah.
And I've used this for a lot.
This is the smallest, 0.75.
Wow, that is small.
This is the smallest you can hardly see.
Wow, that's a clover.
Yes.
Really? The handle looks nice and bulky. It looks good.
It's beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, so, like it would be easy to grab.
Yeah, so I saw that they did the fine one, so I thought I'm having a set of them, so I got a set. And Ursula says, Kim says, Jeannie, you're a natural. You shouldn't be nervous.
Oh, whew, I'm just
lives.
Whew. I'm having a hot flash. I got the door shut.
Jeannie, you might get to like live streams because you get immediate feedback from your audience.
I don't know if I could read them fast enough. Don't they go by real fast when you're looking at them?
Yes, they do. I'm up and down, up and down, up and down.
So can you scroll and make the live chat move? You used to
yes,
not be able to do that.
You use your mouse. You can use your mouse and scroll up and down.
Oh, really? I was going to say you have to touch your finger to the camera. Okay, yeah. So, okay, you can use your mouse to scroll up and down. Oh, I need to try that. I need to try that. I just haven't ever wanted to do it because you can't edit yourself.
Yes, it was the C2C GraphCan book. No, not for me. Ursula says, what were the dolls made of?
They were just fabric, just
like
plain
a rag doll, like a rag doll.
Yeah, only very detailed. The faces were embroidered. They wore wigs, and I had I had 10 girls working for me. Basically, they were working at home, and so they made wigs out of this special fabric that had hair. And so they would make the wigs out of 3 pieces. They would sew them together, and they would send them back to me, and I would put them on the heads of the dolls, and then I would attach them around the edge, and then give them a haircut. So I would, brush them down and give them a little haircut, brush them in place. Oh my goodness. I can't believe I did all that. It was just craziness. But yeah, they were fabric dolls, large stuffed fabric dolls. Yes.
Excellent. I just mentioned that so many math people seem to be so creative, and it seems surprising, but maybe it's not. No, it's not.
Are you a mathematics person?
No, not really. Not really. I've always been arty. I've always been my dad taught me to knit when I was 5, so and then I learned to crochet when I was 20. So knitting has always been part of my life. And then I was when I was in school, I enjoyed craft, paper craft. Mm-hmm. So I made my channel actually started doing paper crafting.
I remember that. Yeah, you talked about that.
Yeah, moved on to the mixed media and canvases and things like that. And then October of 2020, I just got rid of it all and bought yarn and just changed from the mixed media to the yarny fiber community, and here I am today.
Wow. And did you change the name of it? You did change the name of your channel, didn't you?
I think I did. I can't remember what it was called before. Oh, isn't that bad? I can't even remember. Because it's always been Linda Simpson Designs.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, that covers everything. That's great.
Yeah. So, and that. So, and I just love this community. They're so, compared to the mixed media, where it is very much trying to get on top of, but with crocheting and knitting, nobody can invent a new knit stitch because it's been invented. It's been around that many years. Yeah. And it's the same with crocheting. Once you can chain, you can single crochet, double crochet, treble crochet, mm-hmm. Then the world's your oyster in that kind of thing of what you can design, create, mm-hmm. and that. So it's not kind of dog eat dog kind of mentality. It's more about sharing, inspiring, and building people up as well, helping the smaller channels, which is what I really like to do. And and I think that is why I so enjoy being part of this community, because it's sharing ideas as well. It's not, oh, you can't have this is mine. It's shared with everybody.
It is, and you're very encouraging. I know the smaller channels appreciate that, what you do for them, and putting them in lists and telling people about the smaller channels. Some other people do that too. I don't get around enough to do that. I just don't know who's new and who's not out there, but I appreciate the community talking about each other, and go to watch this one, go subscribe to this one. And a lot of times I'll just go out and subscribe, even if I don't know them very well. I will do that on someone's encouragement to do so. And I appreciate that. The Yarny people are just very much giving people. They're giving people. They're sharing all of their ideas. They're talking about everything just right out. They're not trying to, cover anything up or, not tell somebody something that they need to know. I really appreciate that about this particular community, the artist community.
Yes, they are. I'm sure you were a wonderful teacher. You have a great presence. Yes, you do. And it's been really, and thank you for dropping Jeannie's link. And before I go any further, all the links to Jeannie's social media are in the description box, guys. If you're new here and you've not been to Jeannie's channel before, please go across. Please go and have a look at her Etsy shop for her patterns. They are wonderful. They are so, and she's always there. If you get stuck, she's always there to give you a helping hand. And Nisi, yes, 1.75 I have used for lace work. Definitely.
Wow, that is small.
Yeah.
Do I have one of those? 1.75. Oh, here's the pink one. Here's it. This is the tiniest one. This is an F. That's the 3.75. That's big compared to what you're talking about.
It is.
I have those put away. My mother's are in a box. I don't even want to look at them. They're too small.
No. So I just want to say thank you. Best community on YouTube. I totally agree. I want to thank you all so very much in the chat. I know I've not welcomed everybody individually, but I'm sure you can all appreciate why when I've had such a wonderful guest here today.
Thank you.
And don't leave yet. When I say bye-bye and that, we'll have a little chat afterwards, okay?
Okay.
And as I always say, thank you so much for being here. Don't forget the thumbs up. Thank you, Jeanne.
Oh, yes. Be sure to thumbs up Linda's channel here. Let's go.
Yes, thank you. This has been fun. I'm so pleased that you've enjoyed it. Take care. Stay safe. But more importantly, guys, as I always say, be kind to you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.